Alright, what's going on everyone? Welcome to Train Today, and today I am going to talk about motorcycle accident statistics and possible causes. And right now I'm actually reading off of a website that is called motorcycleaccidents.org. Now I'm not going to read this whole thing, but what I will do is I'm going to put a link in the descriptions. If you guys want to read the whole thing, you can. I'm just going to go over some certain things that I think that are important. So here it says, motorcyclists are 35 times more likely to experience a deadly accident on the road than those in passenger cars. In 2006, 88,000 motorcyclists were injured in highway accidents alone. In 2006, 4,810 motorcyclists were killed in road accidents. 11% of all roadway accidents that occur in the U.S. involve motorcycles. Head injuries is the leading cause of death in motorcycle crashes. A motorcyclist not wearing a helmet is 40% more likely to die of a head injury than one who wears one. A motorcyclist not wearing a helmet is 15% more likely to suffer a non-fatal injury than one who wears one. It is estimated that helmets reduce the likelihood of a crash fatality by 37%. In 2007, a total of 7.1 million motorcycles were registered in the U.S. In 2005, the motorcycle fatality rate was 73 per 100,000 registered motorcycles. Meanwhile, the passenger vehicle fatality rate in the same year was 14 per 100,000 registrations. Motorcycle use is growing disproportionately to fatality growth. For instance, in 1997, there were 3,826,373 motorcycles registered in the U.S. and 2,116 motorcycle fatalities. In 2005, there were 6,226,000 motorcycles registered in the U.S. and 4,800 motorcycle fatalities. So between 1997 and 2005, registrations grew 63%, while fatalities more than doubled. So if it's true that bikers are 35 times more likely to experience a deadly accident than those in passenger vehicles, then what I would say is we should also be 35 times more likely to not get into an accident. So basically what that would mean is that we would be 35 times more likely to pay attention, 35 times more focused on the road. So we need to be very careful when we're riding our bikes. We cannot be messing around and being careless, because technically we have no room for error whatsoever. We cannot make any error. Meaning that we have to be pretty much perfect, especially when we are on a highway or freeway. So, I just want to kind of stress that we really need to be very careful when we're messing around with our bikes, especially with some of the young bikers out there who are between 20 and 24. It looks like between that age, those are going to be the ones who are going to be more likely to experience a death. And so just keep in mind that if you're around that age, you can't be immature and messing around with sports bikes. Sports bikes and kids just don't mix. So if you want a sports bike, and I don't want to judge anybody and automatically assume that a 20-year-old can't handle that, but if this is something that you want to get into, which I wouldn't recommend it, but again, it's really your decision. And if you want to get into that, you need to grow up quickly and you have to be mature today. So I just wanted to stress that. So anyway, I'm going to scroll down just a little bit and talk about some possible causes of accidents that you could get into in a motorcycle. So they have a few things here that are listed. Now, even though there are probably millions of things that can cause an accident, I'll just read off a couple, and it says poor weather conditions and not utilizing turn signals. Lane splitting, that's one thing I just kind of want to go over. Now, I know here in the US, I think it's only legal here in California to do any lane splitting. So for those of you who don't live in California, here, if you're driving in California, you're going to see a lot of motorcycles going through the lanes. And so sometimes people may think that that's very dangerous and it should be outlawed. However, in some cases it could be dangerous depending on how you do it, but a lot of times it's actually safer that bikers do it, only because in some cases it's actually not safe to be in front of a vehicle. Like if you're in a lot of stop and go traffic on a freeway and cars are going anywhere between 5 and 25 miles an hour, sometimes when drivers, when they're just kind of sitting around, you know, on the freeway, just kind of stop, you know, in traffic, stop and go and everything, they're going to be tempted to be messing around with their cell phones or hair or radio or whatever. And so in that type of traffic, cars are going to be more likely to run into the back of something, whether if it's you or another vehicle. So if you're on a bike, you don't want anyone running into the back of you going any speed. And I actually had that happen to me one time. So again, in some cases, it is actually safer to go through the lanes. Now, once cars get moving and once you start getting past 40 miles an hour, then that's when it could possibly be more dangerous for a motorcycle to be going through the lanes, only because if you accidentally clip a side view mirror or something like that, that is it. And then of course cars aren't going to be able to slow down or stop soon enough before they run over you. So that was just one thing I just kind of wanted to go over real quick. And then also a few other things I just want to bring up. It says vehicle defects and roadway defects. So the only thing that I can think of as far as motorcycles or anything that can cause a serious accident is going to be obviously your tires. So the two things you want to make sure is, number one, you have the proper air pressure, which I believe in most motorcycles is going to be somewhere around 40 psi. That's usually the golden ratio, especially for sports bikes. So you don't want to go too much over that or too much under that. It's usually around 40 psi, and that's pretty much it. And then as far as tire wear, you know, if your tires are worn, you want to do whatever you can to make sure you stay away from the freeways until you can get that tire replaced. I would also recommend that when you replace your tires, try to find a tire that is somewhat name brand. You don't want to just find some cheap tire that's $20 or something, only because on a bike, regardless of what bike you have, tire is the thing that will either save your life or take your life. And then one more thing that I want to go over really fast is roads can be different. Let's say if you take the same way every day, just because the roads are nice and clean that day doesn't mean it's going to be like that tomorrow or the next day or whatever. So you always want to be cautious, because obviously roads aren't managed, or they're not, it's an uncontrolled environment. So with other cars using the same roads, cars are going to leak everything, like condensation from the air conditioner or something like that. So every car is going to probably leak something, which is going to reactivate oil that's already on the road, and then it's going to become an oil slick. So that's why you don't want to lean your bike too much, and you want to be careful when you're taking over corners. So anyway, that's pretty much all I wanted to go over right now. I just thought that would be important. So again, I'm going to leave links to any article that I see in the description box that talks about this, and hopefully you learned something. And that's about it for right now. So I will be coming out with some more videos soon, so you stay tuned. This is Star Mac. Thanks for watching.